Hi, I'm Pattu from freefincal. This is my handpicked list of mutual funds for the July-September 2021 quarter. It's called the PlumbLine, as regular viewers will know. It was created in late 2017, and I've been publishing it since then. It was created as an accompaniment to the freefincal robo advisory template, and it must be used only by those who have proper goals and a proper asset allocation. In fact, this is a 3,000 plus word post with more than 1,000 words of disclaimers and FAQs on it. So I'm not going to read that through here. I'm just going to get straight to the funds because it just get too boring. But I want to make it very clear that if you're going to ask what about this fund, what about that fund, I just don't know how to answer it. This is my list and this is my opinion. There are hundreds of very good funds out there, and obviously we can't afford to be invested in all of them. So let's start with liquid funds. You can use it for a few months and above. A couple of the safest mutual funds in the liquid fund space is Quantum Liquid and Parak Liquid. I'm not saying they're the only safest. Generally, any large AMC fund which they have where they manage tens of thousands of crores generally is all right. But I prefer them because they have a very clear mandate to be, to stay away from risky debt, and that's why I recommend it. I am invested in Quantum Liquid, a very small amount, but technically I'm invested. Equity arbitrage, you can use it for 1 year and above. Don't use it for short term. I recommend ICICI equity arbitrage. That's where I am invested. It's not a safe fund in terms of credit risk, because arbitrage funds are now hybrid funds. They can invest up to 35% in bonds, and this fund can take a very small 5%, 10% kind of AA bond exposure has been there. Even today it will be there. You can expect about 6% return in this. Don't go for don't get into arbitrage funds for too much returns. It's just a tax efficient way of parking money for above 1 year. It's not like a liquid fund where you can use it for a few months, but you can use it for needs beyond that. But don't expect too much return, because people are always crying, because once investors start cribbing and they start exiting arbitrage funds, what fund managers will do is they will take on risky debt in the fund, and then you'll have all sorts of problems. Anyway, that's a cycle that's inevitable. Right, so money market and ultra short term, use it for durations 1 year and above. ICICI money market fund is okay. HDFC money market is fine. I used to recommend Franklin savings fund. That is also still fine. Its AUM dropped by 77% and it's still doing fine. That's a good sign that the money market is a very strong segment. But still, when there is liquidity problems like it happened in March 2020, April 2020, even this category will fluctuate. All categories of debt funds will fluctuate when there's a liquidity problem. Demand supply fluctuations, if they are there, if people run away from the bond market and equity market, then every fund will suffer. Now, 10-year gilt should be used for more than 15-year goals only. It's a very volatile category. Only those who are very comfortable, who understand basic portfolio management, should use gilt funds. Otherwise, please stay away from gilt funds. SBI Magnum constant maturity, ICICI constant maturity are some good funds. I'm not saying there are only 3 or 4 funds anyway. Among these, you can choose. It's not very hard to choose a fund in this category. Now, for those who want gilts but want lower volatility, but they can choose these funds, HDFC gilt, ICICI gilt or SBI gilt. But the problem is that the fund manager will take active calls. I had compared these 3 funds recently. HDFC takes the kind of portfolio churn based on interest rate movements is less. ICICI does it a little more. SBI does it very frequently. So not that it makes a difference to the returns, but even risk will not make a very great difference, but definitely it will be less volatile than the 10-year gilt option. But still, only people who who understand portfolio management should use gilt funds. Otherwise, there's no point at all. If you just go blindly buy gilt funds for returns, then you will see how volatile they are and suffer for it. And just don't do that. International equity, I'm not really recommending Motilal Oswal S&P 500, but among the entire bunch of funds currently available in the so-called international equity segment, it's a quote unquote because most of it is just US stocks. This S&P 500 index fund is a reasonable bet without too much of concentration risk, where the volatility is less. I still continue to say one must stay away from Nasdaq 100. Every day young people on YouTube come and shout at me for that, saying you're wrong. But that's fine. I mean, I don't care about that. I still feel S&P 500 is a better index fund than the Nasdaq 100. And please avoid all kind of active funds in this sector, fund of funds, all sort of nonsense. Franklin Feeder, PGIM, Global Equity, Axis Global, Alpha, Innovation, this and that, all that you can avoid. Equity tax planning, if you are a young guy, I mean, just use the new tax regime and be done with it. And you don't need all this ATC, ATG and all that. Okay, ATG you can do, maybe it's a charity, but I mean, in the new tax regime, you may not be able to get a tax benefit for it. But I'm just saying that it's painful. You don't need a ELSS fund. It's really unnecessary. But if you insist on staying in the old tax regime and trying to invest 1.5 lakh, assuming you have the correct asset allocation in place, and if that asset allocation is allows the one investment in an ELSS fund, then only you should invest. Aditya Birla Tax Relief 96, DSP Tax Saver, Mirai Tax Saver, Parak Parik, these are all very good options. Parak Parik is a relatively new fund. The others have some kind of history where they have done well. But Parak Parik is more or less a clone of the FlexiCap fund. The Tax Saver is more or less a clone without the international equity. So you can, there's not much of a problem there. Equity-oriented hybrid funds, again, long term, you have to have a proper asset allocation. If you are on the fence between active funds and passive funds, I would suggest you stick to hybrid funds. I mean, then at least you get a little bit lower volatility. As of now, there is no hybrid index fund. If there is, I would recommend it. But once it has got some wear and tear. But since it's not the case, you can choose among Canara Equity Hybrid, HDFC Equity Hybrid, ICICI Equity and Debt, Mirai Asset Equity Hybrid, SBI. They've all had a good track record. Not all of them will shine to the same level, but I mean, this notion of the best fund should go away. Then you will be able to invest much saner also. ICICI multi-asset is one choice. It has a little bit of gold exposure, but I mean, it will be a little bit less. It will be probably a little bit less volatile than the aggressive hybrid, but it will be more volatile than ICICI Balanced Advantage. You can decide what to choose. Of course, Balanced Advantage, the AUM keeps growing. They keep advertising it and so on. So that you have to keep an eye on that as well. In the flexi-cap, large, mid-cap, multi-cap segments, I cannot go beyond Parak Parik long-term equity for now. I try to look at other funds, but I'm not able to place an eye on. Kotak Multicap has also done well, I think. Kotak Flexi-Cap now, I think, right? It has also done well, but its AUM is much, much higher. Again, Parak Parik's AUM has increased quite a bit in the last few months, so that is a problem. That's something that one will have to keep a lookout. See, all funds will go through phases of ups and downs. Parak Parik is just too young to have not seen a down phase. It will also go through a down phase. It will also go through a phase people where investors are cribbing and complaining, and they will say, oh, the AMC is not good now, this and that. That's a cycle of life. You cannot, you have to plow through that. If you are in active funds, you have to plow through that. Even passive funds may go through such cycles. Quantum long-term equity, I am still invested in, but I've removed it because most people will not have the patience, but it has started doing well. I've been saying it'll do well once the market imbalance is removed, and that has been the case. Index funds, UTI Nifty, HDFC Sensex, HDFC Nifty, they're all reasonably good funds. Either you can just simply use this as a just the large cap is enough. There's no need for Nifty Next 50. But if you want to include Nifty Next 50, UTI or ICICI Nifty Next 50 are fine enough choices. A very high risk option is 50% Nifty and 50% Nifty Next 50. You don't need mid cap or small caps if you have this kind of a basket. If you want slightly lower risk, then you can go for 70-80% Nifty and 30-20% of Nifty Next 50. Any lower exposure of Nifty Next 50 doesn't make sense. You can simply use Axis Nifty 100 index fund and go away. Beyond that, Axis Nifty 100 will mimic something like up to 10%, 15%, maybe 20% of Nifty Next 50 at some times. Axis 100 is enough. But beyond that exposure of Nifty Next 50, you may need to do it separately. Mid caps and small cap, there's no point in recommending active mid caps and small cap. I've already said there's no point in investing in index funds of mid cap and small cap. The reason for that is Nifty Next 50 is doing very well. The fund managers in this segment are finding it difficult to beat Nifty Next 50. So it's very hard for me to recommend funds. If you want to choose either equity funds or index funds or debt funds, I always have my debt fund screener, my index fund screener, and my equity fund screener. They're all been published every month. You can just use them and choose that. So that's it for my this quarter's PlumbLine. If you have any questions, please